Hello. 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 హలో రిసీవ్ చేసుకో.
thì
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
వచ్చి మాట్లాడతాడు. ఇక్కడ కొంచెం అగ్రెసివ్
Good morning to all of you. Dr. Varghese is presently working as a system analyst at the Center for Study of Regional Development, JNU, New Delhi. He did his post-graduation in statistics and PhD in geography with specialization in geostatistical urban growth modeling. He has a number of professional diploma and certificates in software applications. He is teaching quantitative methods to studies students of MA Geography and conducts training programs and laboratory practicals for MA and PhD scholars on statistical software such as Stata, SPSS, or etc. He is also well versed in GIS and remote sensing applications using ARC, GIS, QGIS, ERDIS, and IDRISI software. He has vast experience in data extraction, management, and analysis of large survey data such as Census of India, Economic Census, National Sample Survey, National Family Health Survey, and various other unit level data sets. He has conducted several lectures and workshops on data management and analysis using software in various universities and institutions in different parts of India. He has organized several research papers for academic journals and chapters for various policy reports in the area of development and planning. With this brief introduction, I would like to request Dr. Nargis to start the.
Good afternoon.
Please, sir. Thank you, sir.
Am I audible to all? I hope.
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Okay. Meantime, I would request those who are controlling this device to give me host. I want to, because I will be sharing some my software also, so I want to host also. If you can give me the right to host, then I can share my screen as well. Anyway, let us just begin. Now, today, what I will do is I have two sessions, one today and one on Saturday. So today we will be having a discussion on, or I will give you a demonstration on the basic interface of Stata. I think since most of you are from economics background, some of you might be using it. So, but what I will do is, I will start from the basics and we'll learn some commands, and then later on we will, I'll tell you how we can work on large survey data. So right now, let us look into why we require statistical software. Many of you may be thinking that your work can be done in Microsoft Excel. Okay. So you should understand there's a vast difference between Microsoft Excel and Stata. Stata is a statistical software which works on the principles of database management system. Okay. Whereas Microsoft Excel is simply a spreadsheet software where you can feed some numbers and you can do some kind of basic statistical analysis. It's not meant for doing complex statistical analysis. Not only that, Stata can hold large database, large number of observations and variables. Okay. And then data manipulations in Stata are very, very easy. Data manipulation, when I say data manipulation, it includes generation of new variables, recoding the existing variable into different variables, and all those functions are easier in statistical softwares. And then importing data, you can have many formats. It's compatible with many. For example, Microsoft Excel data, you can import it in Stata and you can work on. Now, one important thing about this data is that I told that it's basically inherits the properties of the database software. So it essentially means that it has a basic data structure. Data structure is there, okay, which means that any data which goes into Stata definitely will have a data structure. A data structure includes its name, its type, what type of data you are inputting, and then how many if it is a number, how many decimal places will be there, what is the label of that, etc. Okay, so it's in fact the properties of a data of a column or a variable, right? So now name, you cannot write any name as you want, because name has some restrictions in Stata, because it should follow the principles of database, which means that it should be a single word. Okay, or if you are using two words, you should join it by some underscore, right? And parallelly, you can always label it properly using a variable label. And if the variables are categorical, then you can also put value labels. Okay, the various measurement scales since you are teachers. So we have 4 measurements scales are there: nominal, ordinal, and then interval and ratio scales. Okay. So largely we put our data in numericals codes only, okay, or the absolute figures. Okay, either the ratio or the ordinal or nominal categories, right? Now there are another important thing about Stata is that it's a language based, it's a strong command driven program. Okay, so it's Stata language or the syntax is very, very important. I would request all of you, if you are interested in working in Stata, always use commands. Don't go the available menus and all. Okay. So by doing your work through Stata commands will give you more idea about what algorithm or what exactly you are doing. By clicking a mouse, getting the answer, you won't be able to exactly know what happened behind. Okay, so right from the beginning, anything you do in Stata, do through various commands. Okay, and always Stata has different interfaces. Okay, so there's a basic interface, and where you have you can the one which you see when you open Stata, that is where your data gets data gets stored, and it will have an extension .dt. Other than that, there are some hidden windows, for writing syntaxes and all. There are do file editor is there, okay, and then the browsers is there, then editor is there. So all those are hidden, but when you open Strata, what you are getting is a screen which I'll show you now. um, Whether I can share it, I have to. Can you now see my screen? Please, anybody can confirm? So this is, can you see the screen?
No, sir.
Yeah.
This, right now, can you see my Strata screen?
No.
Yes. Huh?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
You can't see.
Yes. We can't, sir.
There are only multiple screens visible in your system.
Can you see now? Can you see the Strata screen now?
No, sir.
So which means that I haven't got that host privilege. That could be the reason. So anybody who is controlling this,
So personal control.
I have to enter a host key or something here.
Yes, sir.
So what is that key?
వాళ్ళు చేయాలి సార్ జేకేసీ వచ్చేసి మనం ఏం చేయగలం
Can anybody help in because I have already shared. It is saying it's already shared.
So your screen is only that WebEx only visible to
Okay, so just let me just stop and again share it. Hello. Hello, yeah. Okay. So I'm not hearing any voice, yeah? Yeah. See, there is a, towards the right side, there is a share option is there. So I clicked on the share and then clicked on left side. See, click share to share contents in the meeting. Okay, there is an option called when I see in the share. See, I have joined as a guest. Is that a problem? So joining as a guest will not be a problem. Huh? See, I have joined as a guest in this. There are two options through login or through okay. But now I'll tell you, once I am in this screen of Cisco WebEx, I have getting in the middle towards down, I have get three options: mute, stop video, share. So when I clicked on the share, so optimize for text and images, I clicked on the share. Now you have Chrome tab, Windows, entire screen. So I clicked on the entire screen. Acha, can you just confirm now it's visible? Stata is visible, no? Okay, right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's visible, but it's small only. Maximize it, sir. It's visible. Only window share. It's visible. Sir, it's visible, sir, now. It's visible.
It's visible, no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the basic or the starting interface when you start Stata. Okay, so here you
Sir,
can
one
see.
small request, sir. Can you increase the size? Can you increase the size by clicking plus symbol?
But that is, it won't be possible. You can't increase the size. It's maximized only.
Okay, sir, you can continue.
Okay, you can't read anything from this.
The font is not visible, sir.
Let me just see whether something can be. No. Just see whether this will solve. Can you now see this?
Okay, sir. You can continue, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So now what I'm saying is, when you open Stata, the basic, the primary interface you are seeing is this here. Towards left side, you can see it's a review window, and towards the down there is a command window, and in the middle there is a result window, and towards right side there is a variable window, and then you have the properties of the variable as well as the data. Data means entire file. Okay, so this is a main interface. Now the hidden interface I was talking is about this do file editor. So you click on this, you'll get another do file editor. Here you can write a set of commands and you can run it at one go, right? And then you have the browse data browser. Okay, you can see data editor, within bracket you can see browse is written, and then there is another one called data editor edit. Look wise both look same, but function wise it's different. Data editor edit means you can input data here. Suppose if I type here something, it will accept. Okay, so I can start typing the data here, whereas in the here I can't type anything. So browse is basically a window which is used for seeing your data only, not for any editing purpose. And then you have the variable manager, where you can manage your variables. Now what I will do is I just clear this screen. Okay, clear means, whatever is there in the memory of Stata, when you click clear, that file will be closed. Okay, so if you have done some work, always make a habit of saving that work by doing save, replace. Okay, so I'll come to that later. First of all, let us understand what are the different kinds of operators available. Different kinds of operators are there. One is that arithmetic operators, that that plus, minus, then this star sign is, asterisk sign is there, that is used for multiplication, and then forward slash is used for division. So that is one operator. Then another one, the string operators. String operators are star and plus. Okay, so plus is when it is a plus in a string, as a string operator, it means that you are joining two texts together. Okay? Whereas plus as an arithmetic operator means you are adding something. Just for an example, I can show you. If you type here, let us say 45, 55, something, and you have typed here as let us say 20 and 20. So these two are numbers. Okay, whereas here, if I have typed let us say some name here, okay, and or here I have written some other name. Now that plus work both in this case as well as in this case in two different ways. So for example, if I do an addition of var on var2, variable 1 and variable 2. By the way, when you define any variable in Stata, it automatically assign a variable name, a unique variable name. If I give here something type, automatically it says that variable 5. So it's creating columns for you by assigning unique variable name on its own. Okay. Now, if I do an addition here, definitely the addition will be 45 plus 20, it will be 65, and here it will be 79. But when I used string, now this is a string variable. Why? Because we are typing here characters. Okay. Now, if I say, let us say there is a name called Geeta. Okay. Some name like this. Now this here, if I add these two, it will be treated differently. So basically VAR3, VAR4, if I add, it in fact means concatenate two different columns. Okay, I'll just show you how it works. Say for example, if I say generate, now generate is a command used for creating a new variable. Okay, so if I say generate variable 6 equal to variable 1 plus variable 2, this plus means that you are adding these two variables. So you can see, if I browse this, you can see it added and gave you the value here. So these two added and gave you the sum there. But if I generate another variable from variable 3 and 4, here this plus means something else. It added these two texts and gave you Biju John like this. Okay. Understood? So basically, in a string, if you use plus operator, it add those texts or it concatenate that text together. So I said about 4 arithmetic operators, and then I said about string operators. 2 string operators are there. One is that plus, and star also is a string operator. Say for example, I have written here these names here, and suppose here I type three here. Okay. Now this and this I can use an asterisk or a star to repeat whatever you are seeing in this, let us say 5 times, or Gita 3 times. Okay. So, but if you do an asterisk sign here, it will in fact multiply that figures. Now, if I say variable 1 multiply or star variable 2, it will definitely, because those in the variable 1 and variable 2, those are numbers, so definitely it will multiply. So you can see it multiply. 45 into 20 is 900, and 55 into 24 is 1320. But if you apply, let us say in these two, it means that you are asking, let us say we can create another one. Let us say generate variable 9 is equal to variable 3 multiplied by variable 5. Here it is not meant as multiplication. Okay. Here it says that, you know, whatever is there in this variable 3, you repeat these many times. Here this is a number. Okay. So you can see what it did is, you know, this we did this and this, which means that Biju it joined 5 times, whereas Gita it joined 3 times. So this is the basic difference between the arithmetic and string operator. Arithmetic means it will calculate. You know, if it is you use a forward slash, you know, it will divide. Whereas string operator, basically the string operators are plus and this star sign. Okay. Other than that, there are different operators like relational operators. For example, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to. These are all called relational operators. You know, based on these, you can filter certain things and calculate things. Say, for example, if I want to say that I want to calculate something only for a particular age group of age is greater than or equal to, let us say 50. So it will only, whatever calculation we do will be only limited to those age groups. Okay. So that kind of analysis we can do in Strata. And then logical operators are there, for example, and, or. So you can combine, you know, two, you know, criteria through an and or. Say, for example, if I say that if sex is equal to 1, or let us say 1 stands for male and 2 stands for female. If sex is equal to 1 and age is equal to, let us say 40, or age is greater than 40. So which means that you are joining it through that and. So that and is a logical operator. Logical operator. So similarly, you can say that either this or this. So you can have or as also a logical operator. Now these are the various operators, and then you know, about, you know, the commonly used strata commands. Okay, I'll talk about that. You know, the status help is very it's very easy to use, and it's a very, in fact, you know, as the word suggests, help means it's a really very big help. You know, if you don't know anything about, let us say, if there is a command called tabulate, if I type help tabulate, it will help me, you know, how, what are the commands which are used for tabulating something. So one-way tabulation is there, two-way tabulate, and tabulate and summarize. So all relevant commands related to tabulate will help. Now you have to click on these to get the help about that. So it's a very useful help, Stata help. And then other than that, unlike other softwares, here you can do some kind of search in the net also, in the Stata website. If there is some kind of new commands are there, you can in fact install those commands free of cost from the Stata website. So for example, if I say net search, so for that you use a command called net search. Let us say my intention is to get a command. So assume that there is no command available for finding out the Gini coefficient. Okay. Now suppose I want to get it from the Stata website, you just type GINI. So what it will, if your internet should be on, so it will go to the Stata website and the Stata user community, and if it gets a command which is related to that Gini coefficient, okay, and then it will all the commands will be displayed. You can individually go and then download it. Okay. So there are so many commands which is related to the inequality measurements, the decomposition and all. So what you do is you just this is a concentration index, etc. Okay. So all, let us say here, now if I want this command, this is again concentration. If I want this, just have to click on this. Now cannot accept your request, but this is more in the result. Okay, so it says that you stop the more because it's written more. So you stop it there, and suppose you got the command, you click on this. So it will ask whether you want to install it. Click here to install, or if you want to get the help, or if you want to get a do file, you can click on this. Do file is, as I said, that it's a set of commands which, as an example, you can use it for this con index. Con index basically means concentration index. So this is an example how we can use net search command. Okay. Now you can simply type search also. Say for example, search. Let us say Lorentz curve is there. So it will search that whether Lorentz GL, generalized Lorentz curve. So those commands are there. So you can, it's already help GL curve if installed. Now you click on this, you can install it. Okay. So whether you simply ask for a help summarize, or search something, or net search something, so you can get a lot of help, okay, about various commands. Okay. Then suppose you want to update your Stata. Okay. Now if I say update all, any commands which are not there in my Stata, see if you say update all, it will go to the Stata website and see whether there is any new commands available, and it will automatically install it here. So it said that do nothing, all files are up to date, so you don't have to do anything. This is up to date. Okay. So similarly, there is an ADO update is also there. ADO is the auto do file, the do file, automatic do file. So which is if you want, see, for Stata gives you for any command. Say for example, why this tabulate works, because there is an ADO for tabulate. So if you want to update ADO files, so there is an ADO update also available. ADO update. So it will go to different sites, and any new ADOs are available, so it will installed. So no package require updating because this is an updated one. Now, another thing about this Strata is that, Strata, those who worked in the early DOS versions and all, you know that you might have used many commands like change directory, disk operating system, DOS commands. So some of the DOS commands also work here. Say, for example, if I say dir, dir means display the directory. So if I say dir, so it will show this is how the MS-DOS worked earlier. Before Windows came, so we used to work either in Unix or DOS. So there we used to type dir for seeing what type of files are there in your system, files as well as folders. Now, if I say a command like, let us say p, okay, sorry. Now this more is coming. So if you don't want more, if you want to stop or break this more, you can click here on this cross also. Okay. Now here, if I say pwd, this is again a DOS command. Pwd means present working directory. So if I say pwd, it will say that the currently your folder is this one, C drive users HP documents. Now, if you want to change it, you can always say that CD. You can say some other directory. Okay, users HP. If I say desktop, so my directory now became desktop. Okay, so now if I type dir, it will show me the files of the desktop, not the documents. Okay. So now if I say dir or present working directory, instead of documents, it will show desktop on it because I changed it. Okay. So earlier it was like this. So what I mean to say that, in Strata, even the DOS commands also works. Okay. Now, all other commands which is relevant to the data analysis, what we will do is I will open a file. I have two different files in Microsoft Excel, and using that we will do some kind of calculations. Okay, so I have let us say there are two files are there in this one. One is district PCA select 2011, and there's another one called household variable census 2011. Now this is a district file. Now you can see the data. Can you see the screen, Excel? Please say yes or no. Can you see it?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Now, you can't follow what I am saying. Otherwise, you can ask me. Huh? Okay.
We can see the Excel table, sir.
Okay.
Sheet.
And you can hear me also, na, properly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I am showing you right now is a data where you have the primary census abstract, and that is at district level. Okay. Now what we are going to do with this is we will create some indicators, or rather what we will do is we will create a state level data out of this and then create some indicators. And I have another file that is household variables from census 2011 data. Okay. So if you see this, I have state-wise data from Jammu and Kashmir till Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay. Now I have the total number of households. So I have a number of houses with 3 rooms or more. I have number of households having safe drinking water. And then I have a number of household having latrine facility within the premises, and then I have households having LPG for cooking, and then I have number of households having four-wheelers or cars or jeeps or etc. Okay. Now in fact, there are so many other variables. So just for the purpose of this demonstration, I have selected few variables, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have the total number of households so that we can find out some percentage, how many percentage of households in Jammu and Kashmir in each state is having 3 or more rooms. How many percentage of household is having safe drinking water? Now, safe drinking water, what I have taken is the tap water plus covered well. Okay. So as because covered well also can be treated, can be called as, because we used to drink in most of the southern states, that is considered to be a safe drinking water. Okay. So what I have done here is I have combined the tap water as well as the well with covered well. Okay. Now this is within the premises, latrine facility. So we can find out the percentage of the households in each of the state having this facility, and then LPG for cooking, and then the percentage of households having four-wheelers. So we will get 5 good indicators. Now you should remember what is indicated. Now these are raw data. Okay. So what I'm going to, through this demonstration, what I'm going to do is, through this raw data, so in a sense, you can call this as raw data. We will create some indicators, which means that we either will convert that into ratios or percentages or per 10,000, etc. Now, here, all these variables, we can convert that into percentage terms. Okay. And from this also, we will create some indicators like sex ratio. We will create literacy rate. We can create percentage of workers who are other workers. See, there are 4 categories of workers given. One is agricultural laborers, then cultivators are there, then household workers are there, then main other workers are there. So other workers are in fact constitute the workers which are mostly in the secondary and tertiary data, which require a certain skill level. So therefore, that can also be treated as an indicator of development. If in any state, if the other workers are more, which means can be treated as that state is a developed state. Okay. So let us do one exercise. Our aim is to find out certain indicators at state level. So here we have already the state level data, so we don't have to do much work. Here the data is in district level. So first thing is we need to create a state level data, and then through select indicators, we need to some select indicator, as I said, sex ratio, you can take it as it's an indicator for development. Literacy rate, higher literacy means better. And similarly, other workers, along with the 5 variables in the other files. By taking all those 8 different indicators, we can convert that into index, and then we can rank the state according to the development of the state. So this much exercise is a good exercise to understand the data. Okay. Basically, the purpose of this exercise is to understand certain commands and to the data manipulation, and finally generating a composite index. Okay. So we have 2 data set, one at district level, the other one at state level. So I'm closing it. Okay, this I saved, and this also is a saved data. Now I'm coming to our, so I said clear, which means that everything which was in the memory will go. Now there is no file, it's blank screen. Okay. So you can even write drop all, that also works, which means that everything will be dropped from the memory of Stata. Now, what you need to do is you have to import this file. So you can go to File, you click on Import, and then you click on the spreadsheet, because our file is an Excel file. So the first file we are opening is the district PCA select 2011. So you click on this open, and the data comes here. A part of the data displayed here, but this is not correct because in the first row the title is coming. In fact, the title should go in place of ABCD. So you have to say import first row as variable names. So you have to check this, and now you can see that data has come in Stata. So what we did is File, import Excel file. The parallel command is this: import Excel. From this sheet number 1, first row means first row is a variable name. Okay. So if you don't want directly, so what you can do is you can run this command also, it will work. Okay. Right, like this. If you write, the data will come automatically. Okay, so either you write using the menu, or you write that command and execute, you'll get the same result. Now you can see that file is here. Okay, this is the district census 2011. So what you can do, File, save as, you can save it as a Stata file. Let us say district census 2011, or district PCA 2011. PCA stands for primary census abstract. Okay. Now it's saved as a Stata file. Earlier the file was an Excel file. Now you are saving it as a Stata. Stata data file has an extension of .dta. So you save it. So it is saved as a .dta file. Okay. So now you can see the data is here. Now you see there are different color coding system in Stata. These two are in red color, whereas all others are black color, which means that in Stata by default anything you put as a text will be in red color, whereas anything which Stata understand it as a number. Okay. For example, everything need not to be a Stata need not understand it as a number. For example, if I say so coming back to that data, now here you can say that if I type something here, let us say A, B, etc., some characters, and in between I wrote say 6, 7. Okay, this 6, 7 Stata will not understand it as number. Okay, the color coding by default is this red color, which means that Stata is understanding it as characters or strings, not as numbers. Okay, so you can now, how do you see whatever I typed here, I can remove it. You just say drop variable 36, which means that you delete that particular variable. You can see at the end that disappeared. Okay, so drop basically means you are deleting some variable or deleting some observation also. I'll tell you, how you can delete the rows. Now here drop var 36 means we have deleted that particular column. Okay. Now coming back to the data, let us say now save. If I use save replace, which means that we should save the data and replace the existing file. Okay, so we have saved. So whenever you save it, use save comma replace, which means that anything which you added new will also be saved by replacing the previous file. Okay, so save comma. Now if you just type save, it will say that the file already invalid file specific because that file already exists. So you have to say replace. Now, how we can calculate certain things? Now, if I want to, suppose I have closed it, if I want to bring that file again, either you can go file, open, click on this, open, so it will come back. Okay. You can see the file is back. If you want, if I clear it, you can use, commands to open it. So just type this, use, and then wherever is the file, your file is residing in the desktop in a folder called TOT NRC underscore AP, and within that, this is the file name. So if you type use, it will open the file. Now, so the use is the parallel command to open a file. Okay. Now, how we can calculate certain things. Now, before calculating, my aim is to generate a composite index at state level, okay, by using certain number of around 8 indicators, 3 from the PCA and 5 from the other file, household amenities file. So by combining those 8 indicators, how you can create a composite index and rank the states according to the development. Before that, I need to convert my district level data into a straight state level data. So I have the file at district level. Now, how will I convert? I will just type here command called collapse. The collapse is a command for if you have a large data set based on which if you want to aggregate your data, you use the command collapse. So collapse, if I type sum, means I want to sum all that from total population till the end of this. So I have to use a hyphen. So what does it mean? Collapse from total population. If I put a dash, means from total population till the main other workers. But I should use which statistics? I should sum it up, which means that the data which is there at the district level should be added. So all these should be added, and all these should be added and put it in against Jammu and Kashmir. Similarly, all these should be added and put against Himachal Pradesh. So what you are doing from 640 number of observations, you are creating around 37 number of rows, which or rather we can say that from a district level data, you are creating a state level data. Okay. So what I did collapse sum is a function I am using because I want to sum up all those things from this to this, and I'll write by the state. Okay, if I say this, it now created a new file. See, file has only this much. It said just a click, it added up everything. Okay, so Andaman and Nicobar Islands, suppose if there are 2 districts, so it added up the population. So the total population of Andaman and Nicobar Island is 3,80,000, whereas the total population of Kerala is 3,34,06,061. So what it did is it added all the 14 districts and put the figure along the against the Kerala. Okay, So we have created a quickly we created a state level data when we gave this. So it's much faster than Excel. Okay. Now, but you should you should not use this command. If you use this, it will override the existing file, which you should not do because we need that district level data for some other purpose. So what you should now do is you can say that save. You can use this command. Here it says save. Here you can say state PCA. This will work. So if I type this, your file now, which is created now, will be created as a state level file. So you have now both the files. Okay. So I have, if I clear it, I can go back to my previous file. So district PCA is there. Okay. So this is the district level file. The other one is the state level file. Okay, so this is the state level. Okay. So now from this, let us learn some more commands. And suppose I want to convert, I can do convert these strings into numericals or labeled numeric. There are two types of label available. One is variable labeling. Say for example, TPOP. If I want to label that particular variable. Now here it is, the label which is given is not appropriate. Okay, it automatically did. But if I want to label this particular TPOP as a name like this is total population, we can do this like this variable labels. Okay. TPOP as total population. So its variable labeling will get changed. Sorry, variable. Oh, sorry. So I have used that command. Label variables. Okay. So if you give this command label variables tpop, so if you enter this label variables, spelling mistake is there. It is not accepting this as okay. So if I do this label variable, so you see that TPOP, you can see it becomes total population. So you can give appropriate label for a variable. Okay, that is one thing. Another thing is value label. So if any categorical variables are there, then the values are also can be labeled. So for example, state is a string variable. If I want to make a categorical variable, I can use a command called encode. So there are two commands called encode and decode. Encode what? Encode state, generate state ID. So what it will do is that a string variable called state will be from a string variable called state, we can generate a numerical variable called state ID with the state codes in it. Okay. So if you enter it, now you can see what is the difference between these two. If I say browse selectively the state as well as the state ID, I can do like this also. Suppose I don't want to see the entire data, I want to see only 2-3 columns. That also is possible. So Stata is very flexible in that sense. So here BR stands for browse. So if I want to browse only these two, you can see one in red color, which this in fact is it's a string, whereas this is not a string, this is a number, but labeled as labeled number, you can say. Okay. Labeled number. Now you can, if you want to see the label, you can say label list. See what it is. It is actually coded as ones and two, ones, 2, 3, 4, etc. And 1 it assigned Andaman and Nicobar Islands, 2 is Andhra Pradesh, 3 is Arunachal Pradesh. Likewise, it's a coded one. Okay, so 35 stands for West Bengal. So basically this is the difference. One is, this is a number labeled, and this is a string. Now, if you want to, suppose you have only this state ID, labeled state ID. If you want to create string out of this, you can do the reverse of this. That is decode. I won't call it as state because it's already exists. I'll say state 1. Okay. Sorry, decode what? Decode not state 1, decode the state ID from our generate state 1. So if you do this, now you can see both these, all these together. So the state and these two. So the first and the last will be same. Okay. So I decoded this back to a string. So which means that encode and decode can be used to convert a string into a numeral and numeral back into a string. Okay. Right? Now, let us now calculate certain things. Now I'm just dropping it, just for the purpose of learning this command, I did this. So I'm removing this so removing that variable means state 1. So it removed it. Okay. So you say save replace. Before save replace, we can do one thing. We can calculate certain things and keep only that in our data. Okay, so for example, we have sex ratio we can calculate as a indicator. So what we should do is you just type here generate sex ratio. Okay, or you can type SR. You cannot write, as I said, you cannot write like this, it will not accept, because these are two words. So two words, you have to either bring it as a single word or you join it with an underscore. Can't create a variable like this. It will not say, it will say, it didn't understand what we are typing. Okay, so if I say this is equal to, it will not calculate. In fact, let me just type the full formula. This is this female population divided by male population, and then it will be multiplied by 1000. So basically this means that per 1000 population, how many females are there? Okay, so it's a too many variables specified. So it's a wrong command because of this fact that we have been written this variable in a format which Stata accept. You can simply leave it as SR, that will do. SR. That's okay. It's a single word. It's a very small name, so it's okay. So you can see that at the end it calculated one variable. What exactly is this? This variable, that is total female population divided by male population, and then it is multiplied by 1000. So you get this one. Right? Now, if you want to round it, generate SR1 equal to round let me see what we are getting. So I have rounded this to, because sex ratio generally expressed as a whole number. Okay, so 875.9, so it rounded to 876. So what command I used is generate a new variable called SR1 is equal to round is a function used of what? Of the variable SR, that is we created the decimal number, comma 1 means it's no decimal places. 1 stands for no decimal places. Okay. 0.1, if I type here 0.1 means 1 decimal places. 0.01 means 2 decimal places, like that. Okay. So this command will round off that particular variable. Okay. Now let us create another variable. Let us say generate literacy rate. So literacy rate is what is the formula for finding out the literacy rate? It is the total, it is a literates, total literates. LIT stands for literates because I have changed it into small names. Earlier it was literates written, so I just made it as LIT. Okay, divided by the total eligible population. So total population minus child population. So I have the child population here. So I will remove the child population from this to calculate the literacy rate. So literacy rate generally is calculated out of the 7 plus age population. So and then this is multiplied by 100. Okay. So you can say that this is literacy rate, or you can put an underscore here, that's okay. So you enter it, so you get another variable called literacy rate. So if you want your state and literacy rate together, you can see like this. So this is, so Andaman and Nicobar Islands, literacy rate is 86.62, Andhra Pradesh it is 67.01, as per 2011 data, Arunachal Pradesh 65, etc., etc. Okay. So here, when it calculated, it left 5 decimal places. If you don't want that, so what you can do is you just say generate. You don't have to every time you have to type this, just remove this. So you can say that a literate rate 1 is equal to round of this, you remove it, round of this literate can say 0.1. So you can now see again, sorry, not this one. You see the other one also, literate 1. So it adjusted to 1 decimal place. Okay, this one. So what command we used? We used generate literacy rate 1, a new variable equal to round of literacy rate, comma 0.1. Okay. Now another way, indicator we can calculate. So these are called indicators. So 2 indicators we have calculated: sex ratio, we have calculated literacy rate, and now we can calculate one more, generate percentage of other workers as total other workers divided by total main workers. So there are 2 kinds of workers, main and marginal workers. Here I am considering only the main workers or the principal workers. And this one, so of the total main workers in a state, how much percentage of people are doing the secondary and tertiary activities? So you multiply this, you get this new variable. Now you can see, so we have created 3 different variables. So this also we can round off, just remove that particular variable, take this variable, call it as work1, remove this and call this as, okay. So now we can see. Now I don't want all these things, all these data now. My aim was to create this variable as well as this variable. So I now want a file having only these 3 variables as well as my state ID. Okay, the state ID I have here, state ID, right? So what I do, let us save this first. Save, comma, replace. Now I'm going to create another file from this one, in which I will write keep, means I don't want everything, keep only this, keep this, and then there's R1, then lit rate 1, lit underscore rate 1, and then this. Okay, so if when I enter it, when I keep these 3 variables, what you can see, we have only this many things. But you should not override. You should not use save replace here. It will override the existing file. So what I should do is either you go here, save it as a different file, save as a different file. So say state PCA 2011 select indicators. Okay, select indicators. So PCA 2011 select indicators. So now we have altogether having a different file. Now what I'm going to do is from the other file. Now here is the file, final file of indicators with 3 indicators, sex ratio. Now if you want to label it properly, you could label it. What is that? Label variable SR1. We should know what exactly this is. Sex ratio. Properly label it so that sex ratio will appear here. And the other one is this is literacy rate. Okay. And the other one is percentage of workers, other workers. Okay. So you don't have to type everything, just whatever you require, type only that much. So percent other workers. So you can write descriptive names to a variable here like this. Okay? So that will appear here. So your understanding of the variable will be easy. If you look at the label. Sometimes it's difficult to understand what is SR1. So you look at this, we have written its descriptive name, right? So now you can save, replace. Even you can sort based on the ID also. Sort state ID, which means that sort the file based on ID. Okay. So Andaman Nicobar Island, so it gave 1, 2, 3, and it ups to 36 or 37. Okay. No, it is up to 35, right? So now you can say save, replace, right? Now to other file, so it's already saved. Now you can go to the other file, open. So that is not there in the Stata. So you need to go to file, you go to import from the Excel, you click on, so household variable census. So you get that file, click on import first row as variable names, click OK. Do you want to continue? Just 1 minute. So let us say clear this file, which means we have removed files from the memory of Strata. Now you are doing the same thing. Now it will not ask any question. Okay. So you click on open and say import first row as variable names. So you get that data. Okay. So you have got this data. Now here we will again, this one we call it as state ID. So what you have already that command is there, okay, for creating. So if you do this, here also you can create that encode state, generate state ID in this file as well. Okay. So it created a variable called state ID in which numerical codes are there. Now you can create indicators. Say for example, let us say generate percentage of households having 3+ room. Three or more rooms. Okay, this meaning is equal to the 3+ rooms divided by the total number of households multiplied by 1000. No, sorry, 100. So it generated an indicator here. Now another one generate. I'm just rushing it because we don't have the time. Okay, so we have only 7-8 minutes left. So I'm just creating another one, that is percentage of safe drinking water. Now you can't put a hyphen. This will not work. Okay, you have to put an underscore. Households will be equal to this divided by the total number of households multiplied by 100. So we have created another variable. Now we can generate another one. So that is the latrine facilities percentage of within the premises will be, the denominator will remain same, only the numerator changes. So you now created 3 indicators. You can create for LPG and the other one as well. So you just click here, take that generate. Here you type percentage of household having LPG for cooking, and then here you make it as like this. Only thing is the formula should be correct. Okay. Now here remove this, and then here you say percentage of household having cars and jeeps. Okay. So you can delete this and put this here. So now we have got many indicators. Right. Let this be as it is. Okay. Now suppose I want these files separately in a different file. What we do is you say keep from the state ID. Now if I put a dash here, means from this till this. Okay. Before that I should save first this. Save. Or you can, because we have never saved this, so you just save this as a state how HH file. Okay, 2011 saved. Now here you say keep only state ID till this, and then you create another variable, another file. Let us say select. So you have created, you can see we have two select file. One is household file, the other one is PC. Now I want to join these two in a single file. So I think it's now 3:26, na? Can I take 2-3 minutes more? Sort state ID, save replace. Okay, now what you can do is use like this, you type merge 1:1 state ID using the other file. What was the other file? What was the name given to other file? Not this one. The name which is given to the other file is this one. Okay. .dta. So if you do this, so what it does is it will merge these two databases together. So what you are getting is this. Now what happened? All these 5 variables along with the other 3 things which was in another file came together in a single file. So we created now a database of 8 indicators. Okay. So if you want this, you can round it. If you don't, no more. If you don't want this one, what you should do is generate all these things equal to round of this. I'm not creating another variable. I'm just rounding it like this, overwriting it. So already, okay. Okay, it's not generate because it's already exist. So replace this is equal to this, it will work. Okay. So this way you can make it. So if you delete this and put this one, and then similarly you put it the same variable, so it will reduce it to 1 decimal places. So you remove it. The other one is this, and then the same variable you bring it here, and then enter, and then again LPG, and then the last one is 4-wheeler one. So you click on this, so it will come here. Now you can see the file is like this. Okay. If you don't want this underscore merge, you can drop it, drop underscore merge, so it will go. So now you can see it's a very good database of household amenities as well as PCA. So you can save this as state PCA and household amenities merged. Okay, you can save it as a different file. So now you got a different file. So if you want to summarize this, if you want to calculate some statistics out of this, there is sum. Here sum doesn't mean that actual sum. It means summarize. If I want to calculate summarization of all these, I can use this command. So now you don't have the space for that. That's why it is displaying like this. See, here you got each variables, how many observations? 35 observations. The mean is 33. Standard deviation is this much, and minimum, maximum is this much. And similarly, all other variables, you have the mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, etc. So should I stop it here and we can take this further in the next one? If you have any doubt, please ask. Shall I stop it here? And I'm not getting any answer. Nobody is. I can't hear anything. Because there are limitations of teaching this software through online mode, demonstration. So you need to, in fact,
Sir, we request files to be shared.
pardon, I
Files.
can't hear.
Do files
Acha,
to be
you want the
shared.
do? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So there are some errors. All these red ones are errors only. Okay. So I can save that do files. Save all. You can say save all. So that do file is here.
I think you are in the group, sir. Please share it.
So I have saved this. So
Yeah.
what I will do is I will share this with you. Okay. Whatever
Yes,
I
sir.
have created, you can also create. Okay. So my command file is here, and both these district files are there. So you practice these commands with only these two files. Don't look at this. This is one which I created. If you want to really learn, you have to do this on your own. Okay.
Okay.
So because of if I can continue, no problem. But now since the allowed slot is over,
I think there is next class.
next class is
Yeah.
I can little bit 10-15 minutes I can talk about this, and then in the next one we can do the PLFS data.
Okay, sir.
So that is on Saturday 10 to 11:30. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm stopping here. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got it. Subha madam. Hello. Hello. Thank you, sir. for this wonderful session that you have enlightened us with data in a different way that is to be understood for future use, sir. Thank you one and all. Thank you, sir.
Right.
హలో 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 మేడం వినపడుతుందా?
హలో 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 గుడ్ మార్నింగ్. అన్మ్యూట్ చేసాం బాబు.
ఓట్ ఆఫ్ థ్యాంక్స్ రుక్మిణి మేడం గారు చెప్తాను ఎంచుకున్నారట. అంటే మాకు ఇంటిమేషన్ చేయాలి కదమ్మా, ఆమె సరిపోయింది. ఓకే ఓకే మేడం, సరే సరే. సార్ వచ్చేసారండి సార్, ఒక 5 నిమిషాలు.
వాళ్ళు పెట్టండి అంతే కదా. థ్యాంక్ యూ. మేడం నేను షేర్ చేయడానికి చూస్తున్నాను గ్రూప్లో. ఓకే ఓకే.
Hello. Good evening to all the key resource persons and participants. It is my privilege to introduce a key resource person, Dr. Bathura Srinivas Garu, Professor of Center for the Study of Region Development, JNU, New Delhi. Dr. Bathura Srinivas Garu, currently a professor in the CSRD, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, has been in teaching and research for last 25 years. Prior to this, he has in Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, and also worked in national level NGO, National Dalit Forum, Hyderabad, in these positions of Joint Director and Secretary. Then Dr. Batula Srinivaslu Garu published more than 20 research papers in various national and international journals. He has published 2 books. One is on microfinance, alternative and challenges, and other one is impact of globalization on Dalits. Further, he contributed study material for IGNOU students on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's views on capitalism and state socialism and social security. He has presented 35 papers at various national and international seminars and conferences. He has given more than 35 invited talks in national and international platforms. Dr. Badra Srinivas Garu has passion and commitment towards working on informal economy and poverty aspects in his project, which is granted by ICSSR New Delhi on MSME sector, and its inclusiveness, a case study on Andhra Pradesh, several issues pertaining to Dalit entrepreneurship and its success were identified. He has been engaged with the government of Haryana on an impact study of ESI health schemes, where he is trying to explore the challenges and awareness issues on industrial workers. He has been a consultant for a study on Change Alliance New Delhi on re-engineering of skill and livelihood pattern of SEs in Andhra Pradesh. Presently, he is working on small grant project ICSSR on Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Dr. Batla Srinivas Garu is involved with the various organizations at the capacity of member and advisor. He is a governing body member of Andhra Education Society. Today's sir's topic on research project proposal. Okay, thank you for giving this opportunity. We're great proud of, I am expressing the views of that Dr. Badula Srinivas Garu. Thank you, sir. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you for your kind words. Good afternoon, one and all. I think some of you I met in our JNU UGC MMTC Center as part of your 10 days capacity building program as a program coordinators. And I'm from Andhra Pradesh. I'm hailing from a small village called Rajol. My name is Bathula, not Bathula. Bathula is duck. Bathula is surname different. I would like to correct this small correction, sir. But thanks for your affectionate words. Thank you so much. Let's get into our business. Are you able to see my PPT? I have been sharing my PPT. Are you able
Yes,
to?
sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Yeah. So, in fact, when I was asked to,
Audible, sir, and also visibility.
thank you,
PPT
sir.
audio also. Thank you.
When I was asked to give a lecture on AP economy, I was a bit hesitant to give lecture on AP economy because I don't know much. Since I've been working on different things, I was not able to give that. But in the recent phenomena, we need to understand, or we need to provide a kind of support to people towards preparation of research project proposal, which is very crucial or very important for you, because you as government degree college teachers and we as university teachers are supposed to fulfill some kind of requirements for the promotion, for the other things. We need to get some projects. Also, for our CV, for our credentials, there's a need for research project preparation, research projects. So let's start. Or is it moving? My slide is moving. Is it my slide moving, sir? Can anyone respond, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay. In the present academic discourse, research has been playing a crucial and pivotal role. Usually, research and training is a core component of higher education or higher curriculum. If some teachers who are in school education, secondary, higher secondary education, the risk teaching is more priority. When we are entering in undergrads and post-graduation, university system and college system, it is very much needed for towards research and teaching. Okay, recent guidelines of University Grants Commission also has been making more emphasis towards research and publication. And research occupies very crucial role in API calculations and promotion categories. Also, other things the university teachers and college teachers or need for the hour is research. You are all, some of you, like 80% of you must have done your PhDs. I need not to explain, but after doing PhD also, if you are not doing any kind of research, any kind of publication, any kind of projects, that is not up to the mark because the API calculations are being carried out on research and publications. So apart from our regular publications, like we always try to publish based on secondary data, based on other data, based on our PhD thesis, based on our regular curriculum, the research project is one of the contributors for the publication. Why? Because we do or engage ourselves in research projects one way or other. That research project always helpful to bring some of the core ideas, some of the ideas towards publication. Okay, so the importance of research and the importance of publication is very much needed, and for that matter we need the research project proposal, and getting a research project is very crucial. So how to get a research project, and to get that research project, how to write a research project proposal, let's discuss. It is not that you all do not know anything with regard to research project. You all must have got some research projects. You all must have written some research project proposals. You all must have known how to write research projects. But I would like to give my perspective towards a research project preparation. Yeah, this is the idea of giving a lecture. Yeah. So what is objective of any research? Objective of any research to gain familiarity with the phenomena. To gain familiarity with the phenomena, that is exploratory research or formulative research. Exploratory research or formative research. Another one is to portray the characteristics of any individual or any situation, any group. Usually we do engage, we do take up research studies to understand, to determine, to portray the characteristics of one group, one individual, one situation. So that's the core idea of a researcher. So usually in our villages, people do say that, no, banda PhD, this person is doing PhD, this person is doing research. See, you must have known one thing. One Telugu movie you must have seen. In that movie, the comedian Babu Rajendra Prasad, what is his name? Babu Mohan. Babu Mohan used to ask his father, how, what, when. No, he's very much enthusiastic way. He used to ask how, when, what. This is the core idea of research. There is a need for inquisitiveness towards research. You should know how it is happening, why it is happening, when it is happened, how it is happening. Then when you have that inquisitiveness towards anything, you would be good researcher and great researcher. To portray the characteristics of a situation or an individual or a group, that is called a descriptive research. So to determine frequency of occurrence or to understand the association between one to another, that is called what? Descriptive research. So that is called what? Diagnostic research. That is called diagnostic research. Another one is to test hypothetical of a causal relationship between variables is called hypothesis testing research. These are all the things you know very well. I am trying to bring you on a different track. The track is research project preparation. For that, I wanted to give what is an objective of a research. Usually, when we learn about research, what is the characteristic for good research? A good research should be this, a good research should be that. People do explain about good research. Like that, what is an objective of research? The objective of research is to gain familiarity with a phenomenon or a situation. That is an objective. Another one is to understand, to bring different qualities of and different characteristics of a situation. The characteristics of individuals, characteristics of a group, that is research, and occurrence and causal relations. So that is the objective of any research. So why and how we bring research project proposals? Usually, how we bring research project proposals? Anyone come to you and ask that prepare project proposal? So usually on invitation. One is on invitation, people do write a research project. For example, you have been doing miracles in your area, in your subject. Somebody would ask, why don't you do some project for our department, for our university, for our institute? That is on invitation. People do ask you to prepare a research project. Number one. Number two, on call. On call means some institutes, some organizations, some ministries do give a call to give a research project proposal. That is second one. Third one is who would be giving research project proposal call? Third one is that UGC, ICSSR, ICPR, ICHR, and DST, so many, you know very well. The Department of Science and Technology, all these have been giving a call for research project proposal. Next is governments, both state government and central government. And also NGOs, voluntary organizations have been asking us to prepare a research project proposal. Be it international NGOs and collaborative organizations, and some of the organizations which are not in NGOs, not government, some institutes with private ownership institutes. Very recently, somebody from Telangana approached me. He's a private entrepreneur and private industrialist, wanted to do or pursue a study. He wants me to give a proposal, sir, to prepare or do a project so that we can get idea of the Singareni Collieries workers situation, like that. So these are the components. What is the context of research project proposal? Well, let's see what are the contents of the research project preparation. What are the contents? The contents are like, first one is statement of the research problem or statement of the problem. That is number one. Number two, the review of literature. Review of literature. Number three, research gap. Usually research gap emerges from the literature, whatever we have done. Fourth one is research questions. Research questions. Fifth one is objectives of the research project. Objectives of research project. Next one is hypothesis of the research project. Next is research methodology, research tools, research models, research techniques. Research methodology mein we always try to bring research tools, research models, research techniques. Then innovations or path breaking of the proposal. What is innovation of your research project? What is the path breaking of the proposal? Next is expected outcome. With your research proposal, what is an expected outcome? And also relevance for the academia, relevance for the society, relevance for the policy. Usually, what we try to understand, we try to bring so many project proposals. Those project proposals are trying to give a kind of inputs or relevance to the proposals. Like for example, if you try to understand Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, that scheme has been an academic outcome of the research project. Like that expected outcome. What is the expected outcome of our research project? How we can see the expected outcome. And referencing, how to give references, how to write references. And actually, after spending 2 decades of time or 3 decades of time, we always have a confusion. What is the difference between footnote and endnotes? What is the difference between APA style and Chicago style? What is the difference between bibliography and references? All these things, we have a lot of confusion. So the referencing is the core component of the research proposal. And budget framework. Usually people, for example, we as teachers, usually we neglect budget proposals because we're all are occupied with our work, our theory, our models, all these things. That's why we try to forget the budget aspect. But budget framework is very crucial for project proposal. And also timeline. Timeline is very important for the project proposal. If you do not give a timeline of your given tasks, the project proposal may not be able to get approval. And last one is ethical aspects. Usually these ethical aspects always we as teachers, we forget or neglect ethical aspects. Why do we neglect ethical aspects? Like we always take things as granted. For example, you are asking something, some information from a woman about her well-being. You are thinking that we are asking that woman about her well-being. So we are doing some better thing for her. That's our idea. But that well-being questions should not sensitive or should not be sensitive, should not be controversial, should not be giving a problem to that woman. Whatever the questions we ask, that should not be coming under ethical aspects. Some questions we ask, sometimes it is out of beyond ethics. So we need to understand what are the ethical aspects we are covering. Are we really covering all the aspects? Are we trying to bring some of the data which are non-ethical? These things we need to understand. So this is overall contents or overall structure of a research proposal or research project proposal. You all must have seen this thesis. All these things are there in thesis, but some of the things I have added and we can discuss some of the things in due course. Yeah. So how to write an introduction? Usually you must have seen some of the things like, the introduction always write in a broader manner. For instance, somebody asks you that what is the level of higher education component in Andhra Pradesh? Somebody asks you to provide or give a proposal for that. What is the level of, or what is the impact of recent capacity building program in Andhra Pradesh? That is the thing somebody asks you to prepare a research project proposal. So the moment they ask you, would you write directly the capacity building program and higher education? No, we should not write that. We should write what is the higher education in India or in world, what is the component of higher education, how this higher education contributing to the human welfare or contributing towards human capital. First, you start with that. And you can start, that's why I said it is a broader. You start with an international situation of higher education, national situation of higher education, how the higher education is contributing towards societal upliftment, how the higher education is contributing towards economy's uplifting. All these things we discuss. That is a broader area we discuss. After discussing all these broader topics, after discussing all these broader issues with regard to higher education, you narrow down the topic with specific figures and facts. Like in Andhra Pradesh, being highly talented state, highly intelligent people filled state, we always can say that no, the state is in need of reforms in higher education. The state has been trying to provide some kind of reforms in higher education. For that matter, there are nearly 140 colleges, and in that colleges there are 140 million students. In that 140 million students, these are the social science component, these are the lecturers ratio, this is the ratio of the college higher education. We are trying to bring, and you are trying to bring narrow down of the topic. Then the moment you narrow down the topic, you can start with what is that, in Andhra Pradesh, with the light of all these things, the capacity building program has been initiated by the government to provide to bring academic fraternity in a limelight with their different initiatives. So in the context, you have to write like that. So with that, specify some study with some case studies. Some that when you are writing some case studies, you always mention. Provide some prominent models or theories on the topic. For example, what is this? Suddenly you wrote, although introduction, you wrote what overall broader level of general introduction. What is prominent models and theories? Whatever the topic you are writing, whatever the topic you have taken, you should understand the models, theories on the topic. For example, education, what is the model in education? And in migration, what is the model? Can we write, for example, somebody asked you that you prepare migration workers problems. Can you write directly migration workers problems? No. You are supposed to write as an economics teacher. You should start with Michael P. Todaro migration theory. Why the theory has come into picture? Why the theory has been in the limelight? What theory says? How the theory explains us? Those things we need to understand. Then the moment you bring in theory, what theory says, then you start. For example, you wanted to work on employment. You have to bring general employment theory and try to start. Also, if you wanted to start some theories like what it called rural transformation theory. So rural transformation, if you want to discuss on rural transformation, you should write dependency theory and other theories. Like so, you should write some of the theories which have been contributing, which have been discussed in the literature, and what is their contribution, how we are bringing the theory into our proposal. That is the beauty of writing a research proposal. Usually, what we do, we try to discuss the introduction and problem statement by neglecting various prominent theories and prominent models. If you discuss the prominent theories and prominent models, automatically that gives you different input to write your research project proposal. That is the idea I am trying to tell you. Another one is that bring recent arguments about the context. For example, you are writing something like on migration. You're trying to work, or you're trying to write female migrant labor in Andhra Pradesh. You have to write recent arguments, recent context, like recently because of COVID, the migrant reverse migration concept has been coming to the picture. What is that reverse migration? How do we see so far? We have seen only migration. So far, we have seen only migration data in NSSO. So what is this reverse migration? What is the relationship between this reverse migration and land? What is the relationship between reverse migration and livelihood opportunities? What is the relationship between reverse migration and other employment opportunities? See, the moment you bring recent arguments, that adds beauty of your research proposal. Okay. So another one is try to bring the link between existed arguments and our own proposed topic. What others have been spoken about the topic, what others perspectives about the topic, what is our topic, try to understand, try to bring in. That is very important in writing a research proposal. And also, while writing introduction, you are supposed to write secondary data sources for your argument. See, I've been telling this to my students always. There's a difference between a politician and an academician. What is the difference? The core difference is that an academician always speaks with empirical data, but a politician never speaks with an empirical data. For example, I give two statements. One statement, for the last 2-3 years, the crime rate has been increasing in India. And another statement is that for the last 2 years, that is 222 to 224, 4% of crime rate has been increasing in Indian economy, particularly Tamil Nadu, or particularly Kerala, particularly Andhra Pradesh. If I give that statement, which statements do you prefer? We prefer the statement which is having numbers, which are having empirical evidence. See, we are all researchers. We all believe empirical evidences. All crows are black, all swans are white. This is the empirical evidence. So like whatever you're writing in introduction, you try to bring some secondary data sources for the argument, for your argument in general, to build the introduction. Then only your introduction would be more focused introduction. That's the idea of writing an introduction. Okay. Another one is statement of the problem. How to write a statement of the problem? We write overall introduction, 4-5 pages, 4-5 pages we write. All introduction we write 5 pages. Then you bring in statement of the problem. Statement of the problem always very specific and very crisp. Why I'm using this crisp and specific? Whatever you wanted to do or whatever you wanted to pursue in your research project, that should reflect in your statement of the problem. For example, we all watch movies. When we go to movie, in the first instance, we will get to know what is that movie. How do we get to know what is that movie? Whether it is a crime movie or like a comedy movie or like dayal movies వస్తున్నాయి. So why? How do you identify the movie? Immediately when you enter in the theater within 5 days, few minutes. Because the director tune your mind with the music, with the situation, with the kind of background score. Likewise, your introduction or statement of the problem would be background score of your research project. It should be background score. You are trying to explain your idea in your research project, research statement. So the statement always very specific, very crisp, number one. Number two, whatever the difficulty arises, theoretical or practical, we should fix in the statement of the problem. Another one is the problem, the statement of the problem can be attributed to sometimes individual, sometimes to organization, sometimes economy, sometimes state. You always can write. That's a different story. And research problem requires a researcher to find out the course of action, what you wanted to do, how you wanted to do. Invariably, it should be linked. And outcome, what should be the outcome? And all elements may be thought in the context of research statement. All elements, whatever, see, be a novelist, novel writer. See, in a novel writing, they are trying to bring you on a track. So you also should write your research statement like that. So that would be your statement of the problem. Okay, how do you select the research problem? Usually, we all try to think in a different perspective. Sometimes we have to be very wise. Subject which is overdone should not be chosen for the research problem or research, what it called, study. Subject which is overdone. Very recently, if you want to write a project proposal on self-help groups, plethora of work has been done on self-help groups. But if you try to bring self-help groups research, that's not useful. It would be in vain. So the proposal should be a new one, a recent one. That is very important, number one. Number two, the controversial subjects should not be taken. Some people would like to work on religion. Some people would like to on corruption. See, we always try to criticize the corruption. Yeah, as particularly government teachers and lecturers. We all we try to become very angry when the corruption point comes. But as long as you do not get an opportunity, you are always pure. If you get an opportunity, you will become corrupt. So that kind of controversial, that kind of corruption related things we should not take for project proposals. And another one, avoid too vague or too narrow problems. And also, before writing research proposal, we need to understand, we need to identify the data availability, whether we can bring that data. Or very recently, I will tell you my example. I have submitted a research proposal on Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, particularly beneficiaries' perspective. The moment we went to different banks, bankers do not want to give the data of beneficiaries list. They've been saying that it is a sensitive list, we do not want to give. But in the moment they said, I try to communicate the same to ICSSR. See, the beneficiaries list I'm not able to get. Also, you are supposed to guide the Minister of Finance to provide the data. That's what I have asked. What they said, you know, they said before submitting the project proposal, you should have worked about whether data is available or not. That is the point they have told me. So, whatever the research project proposal you are trying to submit or write, you should understand, you should think about the availability of data. Also, time factor. Usually, if it is very long duration, it's not possible. It is very short duration, it's not possible. So we always try to see the time factor. And another thing is that whether our project proposal within the budget will be there or not, we have to see. And one more thing, very important thing is that well-developed techniques we have to use. Then whether these techniques are feasible or not, we have to think. Usually, I always love to pursue research on case study based. And some people try to pursue research on secondary data. But I would rather suggest you people to work on primary data. So if you do work on primary data, you will be the boss. You will be the owner of that work. The moment you work on secondary data, always until unless you are becoming Amartya Sen, you can do the project proposal on secondary data. So another one is that how to define, how to articulate research problem. Defining research problem is like first you understand the nature of the problem and try to understand this nature of the problem through your survey. Try to understand the nature of problem with review of literature. Try to understand the nature of problem with the given books or whatever. Once you get or once you define the research problem, one thing I would like to suggest, discuss with your friends, discuss with your teachers, discuss with that topic in seminar, so that your topic would get more focused way. For example, what we do, that's a bad practice maybe. We want to submit a research proposal, but we do not want to share with anyone. Why? Because we have a threat. If I share with someone, he will submit. He might submit to some other agency. No? Am I right or not? That we have that tendency in our mindset, right? So we do not want to share whatever we try to discuss or whatever we try to propose or work, we do not want to share. But one important thing is that if you share with your colleagues, if you share with friends, if you share with teachers, that would give you add of your research problem. They will give some kind of suggestions. Those suggestions would be more valuable. And later, you try to rephrase the research problem in the introduction and the statement of the problem. That's the idea. And then you bring in review of literature. What is review of literature? Usually, people write review of literature in a different perspective. But I would like to express or explain that review of literature is very, very crucial for the project proposal because based on the review of literature, you are trying to bring research gap, you are trying to bring your research questions. One is research gap, another one is research questions. So if you complete review of literature and try to focus recent review of literature, you always get idea of what is being done, what needs to do, how it has to be done. Usually, what we think review of literature means, I have seen so many papers, so many proposals. They write in a chronological manner, and this study work on this, that. No, it should not be. Your research review of literature should provide a value of your research program. You always think in those lines. Like review of literature is of 6 types. One is general review of literature, thematic review of literature, methodological review of literature, horizontal and vertical review of literature, chronological review of literature, historical review of literature. Am I boring? All these things you must have seen in your 10 days capacity building program. Have you seen all these things? Can anyone respond? Can anyone respond, please? Chhatrapati garu. Okay, anyway. So what is general literature review? General literature review always.
Sorry, if it's not useful, please continue.
It is visible, sir. Continue, sir.
Sir, very interesting. Please continue.
Okay, okay.
I am Chakrabarti, sir.
చక్రపతి గారు ఇస్లియే నేను చెప్తున్నాను చక్రపతి గారు మీరు కనిపించారు అందుకని చక్రపతి గారు అంటున్నారు. ఎనీవే, so general review of literature we write like what it called in a normal way we write general review of literature, written overview of major writings. In general review of literature we write overview of major writings, but it won't survive the purpose. Another one is thematic review of literature. In thematic review of literature, the focus would be on themes. Different themes we discuss, who have done those thematic works, and we bring all those things. Then it will add to your review of literature. Another one is methodological review of literature. Methodological review of literature always, what are the methods that are there on the different topic, and what are the prominent methods are existed. For example, regional development. Professor Arigai and other aspects we bring, and methodological reviews we bring. Then we can write other things like other things. So another one is horizontal and vertical review of literature. Horizontal review of literature always explain what studies you need to bring in. What are the studies you need to bring in review of literature? In vertical literature, why why you are bringing those literature studies? You try to bring those studies, and why are you bringing that study? So that is vertical review of literature. And chronological review of literature, you know very well. I need not to explain the chronological review of literature. Then historical review of literature. Historical reviews usually in the political economy, people do write or projects preparation, they write historical wise review of literature. So the review of literature is usually whatever the agency that is ready to give or sanction a research project, they try to see whether the project proposal is having recent studies or not. Two things people do see in evaluation. One is whether in review of literature recent studies are there or not. Number one. Number two, whether models are discussed in review of literature or not. These two are very prominent in review of literature. Okay. So let's come back to research gap. Research gap or research questions. See, what is research gap? Research gap means you have identified the missing area, missing concept, missing theory, and missing indicator or index.
Excuse me, sir.
Very recently, we are working on sanitation practices on children stunting and underweight. So in that, the NFHS data has been bringing the family conditions, whether it is a nuclear family or combined joint family,
Good evening,
family income, and area wise and all. What I am trying to bring the region, the kind of other things also we are trying to bring in. So that is the idea. Okay. Somebody raised hand. Happened.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, regarding literature review, I have small doubts, sir.
Okay, sir. Chapandi.
So to what extent we will review the literature? How many articles are books? Is there any limit, sir, to write an article?
Sir, there is no limit as such. Actually, మనమందరం ఎలా ఆలోచిస్తామంటే సార్ ఒక ఆర్టికల్ రాయడానికి ఇన్ని 40 కావాలి 50 కావాలి అనుకుంటాం సార్. నో, ఇట్స్ నాట్ దట్. ఒక ఆర్టికల్ రాయాలంటే దాని మీద ఉండే ఒక 4-5 స్ట్రాంగ్ పేపర్స్ అయినా సరిపోతుంది. There is no required review of literature, this many has to be done, this should not be done. అలా లేదు సార్. కానీ ఒక పాయింట్ మీకు చెప్తున్నాను సార్. మీ పేరేంటన్నారు? PVKN చక్రవర్తి.
సార్ ఐఎమ్ రామానుజన్ సార్ ఫ్రమ్ చిత్తూరు సార్.
ఓకే. సో మీకు ఒకటే చెప్తున్నాను సార్, మనము తీసుకునే స్టడీ హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ రిలవెంట్ టు అవర్ ప్రపోజల్, అవర్ రీసెర్చ్, హౌ వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ దట్ స్టడీ టు ఒక థ్రెడ్ ఉంటుంది. ఓ థ్రెడ్ లో ఆ థ్రెడ్ లో మిక్స్ అవుతుందా లేదా చూసుకోవాలి మనం. ఆ థ్రెడ్ లో మిక్స్ అయి రావాలి కదా. మీరు చీర నేటివ్ చూసారు ఎప్పుడన్నా? చీర నేసేటప్పుడు ఆ చీర నేస్తుంటాడు కదా, ఆ థ్రెడ్ అలా మిక్స్ అయి చీరలోకి వెళ్తుంది, అలా చక్కగా చీరలా వస్తుంది. సో ఆ లిటరేచర్ రివ్యూ ఎలా ఉండాలంటే మీ రీసెర్చ్ స్టడీలో కలిసిపోతూ ఉండాలన్నమాట. అలా తీసుకోవాలి, అటువంటి స్టడీస్ తీసుకోవాలి. అండ్ ఆల్సో మోడల్స్, మెథడ్స్ ఆల్సో వీ హ్యావ్ టు టేక్ ఇన్ దట్ డైరెక్షన్. సో automatically that would be better. It's not necessary that you have to take 40, you have to take 30, but minimum is 10, 15.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So what is the research gap? There is a missing area, missing topic missing methods. I was trying to explain this. Very recently, we are doing one study on sanitation practices on children underweight, children nutrition. So what is, see, in NFHS data, some of the variables are there. What we are trying to do, okay, in this NFHS data, we have area variable, we have this variable, that variable, but we need to have different area variable. So we are trying to bring that as a study. So some of the missing areas, missing topics are there, we have to bring. So the research gap always try to address novelty of the study, how it is there, and inadequate research. Usually what we try to understand, whatever you have done in your review of literature, sometimes we think that there is an inadequacy. It would have done like this. No, it would have done like this. It would have taken in a different perspective. We always think like that. Fine. So the moment we think, automatically that inadequacy research we always can address, that would be research gap. Okay. The gap usually emerges from literature. Okay. The gap usually emerges from literature, and how to bring it, that is the question. The moment we get gap from the literature, with our knowledge we have to bring it. Very recently, I will tell you one component. In health aspects, in India, the health insurance is both private and public. In Canada, the health availability is with the government. In US, it is purely private. You have to bear. Okay, I am giving 3 examples, sir. One is Canada, one is US, another one is India. So I've been thinking that, fine, in health, in future, the health aspects are very important. So why not the countries are giving free medical facilities? I've been thinking that. The moment I thought, I've been trying to write a proposal. In India, it is both private and public. In US, it is only private. In Canada, it is public. So how to bring that gap? How to bring that void, how to address that void situation? That's my idea. So we always see inadequate research, and that gap usually emerges from the literature. Sometimes research gap emerges from data, research gap emerges from case study, research gap emerges from experiment based. Okay, research questions can be either exploratory, descriptive, or comparative. Research questions always either exploratory, descriptive, or comparative. So what are the comparative questions? Comparative questions are especially helpful when studying dependent variables. So like, why is it easier for men to lose weight than it is for women? That's the comparative research question. And exploratory research questions, the questions that are designed to understand more about the topic, to bring explore. See, explorative study is always, it is a methodology to investigate, to acquire new sites. Kada? Are you following? To acquire new insights, exploratory. For example, in your college, everybody wanted e-lectures. Now, Corona has lent online lectures for us. Otherwise, I would have come to Vijayawada or Rajahmundry or Visakhapatnam to give this lecture instead of sitting here in Delhi and giving lecture thanks to Corona. Am I right? So the research to acquire new insights, the methodology to investigate is explorative research, explorative study, right? So explorative questions means what is the effect of a personal technology on today's youth? Or technology, forget. What is the effect of YouTube on today's youth? YouTube. That's the biggest. YouTube చూడకుండా ఎవడు మంచి బతకట్లేదు ఈ రోజుల్లో కదా. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So predictive questions. Predictive questions like, are people more likely to buy a product after celebrity promotions? That is a prediction. These days, you need not to work research. The AI always be there. Artificial intelligence always predict what kind of product people do buy. Okay. So descriptive questions. It is the most basic type of quantitative research questions, and it seeks to where, why, and how. Where, why, and how. So what is the example? What percentage of college students make use of e-libraries? What percentage of college students make use of e-libraries? That is descriptive questions. So what are the research objectives? How to write research objectives? Research objectives are a SMART principle. That is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Usually, we write research objectives to understand. No. If you write to understand, next sentence to inquire, next would be to analyze, next would be to examine, to provide. You should write like that. People do write through a box sub we write. That is not appropriate in writing research objectives, right? What is the hypothesis of research? What is the hypothesis of research? Hypotheses are specific preconditions about the nature and the relationship of two variables. They give insight to the research question, testable and measurable by the proposed tools. What are the null hypotheses? We call HO, a statistical hypothesis that states difference between parameter and specific value. Alternative is a statistical hypothesis that exists of difference between parameter and supported. It's denoted by HA. This is hypothesis writing. But research methodology. See, can I take till 5:15? Or if you are feeling bored, I will stop.
Take up to 5.
Okay. The methodology describes how research would be undertaken. It gives the way to check whether the approach is accurate or not. The goal of methodology is to increase the credibility of the research proposal. Usually, if we try to understand the methodology, that methodology gives us the credibility. If people do work on quantitative techniques, qualitative techniques. When people work on quantitative techniques, they are more credibility. And these are the important methods and methodology. Methods are tools to use select research technique, while methodology, the methods and procedures of investigation. Okay. Methods are applied during later stage of this research study. Methodology applied during initial stages of research process. Okay. In a longer or more complex research project like thesis writing and all, probably we include methodology section where approach is explained in answering the research questions and cite relevant sources to support our choice of method which we are adopting. Okay. What is the research design? See, the preparation of research design appropriate for research problem usually comes following. One is means of obtaining the information, availability of skills, explanation of the way, time available for research, cost factor. These are the research design aspects. So type of study and research design. See, explorative studies, descriptive and diagnostic studies, overall design in explorative, flexible, and descriptive, rigid. Sampling design, we always non-probability in explorative. Or explorative means we always try to give non-probability sampling design or purposive judgment sampling. In the probability rigid design, we always take descriptive probability sampling. In exploratory, what is the statistical design? No pre-planned design for analysis. In descriptive, we always take a pre-planned design. What is observational design? Unstructured instruments for data collection. In descriptive, structured way of data collection. This is about type of study or research. So the sample size, see, usually we always have a doubt how much sample we have to take. Some people do take 10% sample. Some people do take in universe this much sample, but there's a formula to calculate sample size. You can always take this. There is a one book called Probability and Statistics by J.L. DeVore. In that, this formula is there n equal to 4 alpha square p multiplies 1 minus p upon w square. This is the sample size technique you always can take up. Okay. So what is the data collection methods? Usually, we always try to see data collection method qualitative, we work qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods. These days, we always try to bring mixed methods because if you bring mixed methods, the project proposal would be very valid. So let us discuss what are the qualitative methods, what are the quantitative methods. 2-3 minutes we'll discuss. The qualitative methods are always more flexible and subjective. But these days, particularly in psychology studies, sociology studies, and philosophical studies, the qualitative methods are very crucial. And also in economy also, qualitative studies, they have been taking up. In qualitative studies, these methods are following like interview or focus groups, participant observation methods, mailing the question. While doing this, there's a test called Cronbach alpha test. This Cronbach alpha test is used to test this significance. Cronbach alpha test we always use to identify the acceptability or in what we can do. A value of 0.7 or greater is the acceptability level. That is Cronbach alpha test. It is a test. It is a way of assessing reliability by comparing the amount of shared variance or covariance. That is Cronbach alpha test. Okay. And the quantitative explains operational concepts, sampling methods, and inclusion and exclusion criteria. All these things in quantitative methods we always try to do scaling, Likert scale or all the scalings we always do. A survey method, experiment method, and all those things. Then we have got mixed method approach. Let's discuss 2-3 things about parametric methods and non-parametric tests. Parametric tests and non-parametric tests. See, parametric test relies on statistical distribution in data, whereas non-parametric tests depend on any distribution. Usually, parametric tests use mean, non-parametric tests use median. The probabilistic distribution assumed in case of parametric test, and in non-parametric it is not based on any assumption. It is arbitrary. Usually, we as a researcher, sometimes we are in confusion. We are not able to do regression. We are not able to do chi-square test. We are not able to do some tests. So if you are not able to do some tests, you always can use non-parametric tests if your tests are not significant, variance are not significant. So the chi-square test always use testing association. We always use t-test. We always use z-test. we always use F test. But on the contrary, some non-parametric tests we can use in our research project proposal, that is Kruskal-Wallis test, Mann-Whitney U test, which are very important to bring in our research proposals. Okay. For data analysis, we always can use, for qualitative data, we can use NVivo, thematic, max QDA, atlas. These are the packages, statistical, or we can say the packages to understand the qualitative data sources. In quantitative, we have got tools, Stata, or Python, MATLAB, SPSS you know very well, UViews you know very well. You are all experts in SPSS and UViews. But very recently we have got Stata or Python, MATLAB and all these things. Okay, these are about qualitative, these are about explaining or analyzing the qualitative data and quantitative data. So let's come back to innovations and path breaking of research proposal. Usually, research granting institutions always ask us to write what is the innovation of your proposal, what is the path breaking of the proposal. That question always be asked by the research donor agencies or ICSS or like agencies. But see, usually the path-breaking innovations are about instigating fundamental aspects, like they're complex, continuous and evolutionary process that takes resources. Usually, we as researcher try to bring different ideas. And what is the innovation of your research proposal? That is the question. For instance, you are proposing one research project which is trying to work on health aspects of elderly. For instance, we are trying to work on health aspects of elderly. So what is the innovation of your work? That's the question to be asked by the research grant agencies. Usually, we should be in a position to write the innovation of our research proposal. Like, suppose I try to write a proposal on health avenues of elderly. I write innovation is that, okay, this health aspects of elderly, we try to bring in not only public-private health aspects, also we always bring in their quality of life, the quality of life within the household or outside of the household. Those things you need to write in a different perspective. And it involves use of reflexive and critical methods to examine the challenges, assumptions, biases, and implications of the research process. Usually, we always write proposals, but we are very weak to write innovation or path breaking. What is the path breaking of our proposal? Like sometimes, very recently, we work on women entrepreneurship. The path breaking is that why women are strictly designated to some kind of entrepreneurship. Why not? They are not moving into other avenues. Why women are in pearl industry? Why women are in what it called rolled gold industry? Why women are in dyeing industry? Why women are in tailoring industry? What is the reason for that? So some selected or specified services or manufacturing industries they are into. So path breaking is that why not they shift to other avenues? So that would be a path breaking. Or we can see why unpaid care is not giving much priority when women is working more on unpaid care. For example, my fellow colleagues, all women colleagues are there in this group. They have been listening these lectures from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And the moment they went back home, they have to prepare food. They have to do their household chores. That is an unpaid care. How to calculate that unpaid care? How to bring in that unpaid care into literature, economic literature? How to measure? How to calculate that economic exploitation? How to calculate that sociological exploitation? These are the very important components to understand. That should be a path breaking. That should be innovation. So that kind of thinking we need to work on, right? And what is expected outcome? For example, you should be very specific and provide information about the expected outcome. With this project, the research would get this outcome. With this project, the research would become a book. This project, the research project would become a textbook for Andhra Pradesh degree college students. This research project would become an article, a paper for international audience. This research book or research outcome would become a policy document for the government. That is an expected outcome. The expected outcome impact set out in the work program, improving innovation capacity, integrating new knowledge, new aspects, and also innovations to the market. Usually, the Amazon and Flipkart, all these things are innovations of the market, right? See, you need not to have a shopping complex. You need not to have a shop to market. In a traditional way of discussing or defining the market means a market with a place, a demand and supply, all these things we have learned. But a market without shop, without anything, you are doing e-shopping. Amazon is the best example. That is an innovation. So any other environmental, socially important impacts? Very recently, people do think about impact of environment. How this would help environmentally friendly. How this would help eco-friendly. For example, you try to work on, the manufacturing sector need to emphasize more on jute bags, which is environmental friendly. That would be an outcome. In that context, we need to think. So whatever we try to bring in with regard to expected outcome, we have to write in a systematic manner. And also we have to describe what are the barriers, what are the obstacles, what are the framework conditions in state, in center, in market, all these things we need to discuss. But we need to discuss what is the expected outcome with our research project proposal. And what is the relevance of society, relevance of the policy, relevance for the policy, relevance for the society, relevance for the academia. So usually we always think with the research proposal, what could be the relevance? How we can see the relevance? We always can see the relevance. This research, for example, again, I will tell you, NREGA has got its relevance for the society. It always addresses the livelihood of poor farmers, right? And some program which can provide a kind of opportunities to the people that is helpful to the society, and also some research helpful for the policy, some research helpful the academia. So it builds knowledge and promotes learning. Our research project always builds knowledge and promotes learning. It helps in increasing public awareness. Very recently, one of my students worked on consumption of cigarettes in university campuses. He tried to work on. That's very good. What he one interesting observation is that he wanted to give a kind of documentary to publish in cinema halls and TV. But when we go to movie, one advertisement would come in the beginning. In Andhra, it is apparently it is there. Oh, గుట్కా తిన్నాడు, కళ్ళు ఇలా వాచిపోయాయి, ముక్కు ఇలా వాచిపోయింది, వీడికి ఆపరేషన్ అయింది అని వస్తుంది ఒక అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్. If you people who are smokers, they don't want to see that advertisement. They want to go out and have a smoke and come back. What is the use for that? So thing is that the public awareness we need to bring in an innovative manner. That research proposal always help us. And always research promotes success in business and other fields. Some product, why some companies are at the closer, why some companies are in lack of demand, all this market driven research. In these days, see, after 2001, the market driven economies are emerging. Am I right? We are all economists. The market driven economies are emerging in recent times. We need to understand what are the market driven aspects. Right? So the research always bring discovering opportunities and help in building so many things. And it promotes confidence and passion in reading, sharing information and writing. That is the relevance. Research nourishes, helps, and planning help. These are the relevance for academia. And how to give a referencing. Or everybody is roaming here and there. You must be bored because you have started your day at 9:30. I will stop. Give me just 5 minutes. Give referencing is very important. How to give referencing? Let me skip this. Referencing style. There are 3 styles: APA, MLA, Chicago. American Psychological Association, Modern Language Association, Chicago, Turabian style generally used by business and history. Okay, let me give you how to write. In American APA, we have to write like this: author name, within the bracket year, and this one. And in Chicago, we have to write this. In modern language, we have to write. Usually, if you are a good researcher, people do see your objectives, your methodology, your referencing. 3 things people do see: your objectives, your methodology, your referencing. If you are doing best referencing, you are the best researcher. So these days, we have got packages, and Mendeley package always be there. We can use Mendeley package, but we need to understand what is the style, APA style, what is the APA style, what is Chicago style, what is MLA style. Okay, difference between footnotes, endnotes, and bibliography and references. Usually there is a difference between references and bibliography. References means whatever we have used, we use references. Even if you are not using, you can keep in bibliography. That is the difference between references and bibliography. And footnotes and endnotes. Footnotes appear on the bottom of page that contains the reference. Endnotes listed at the end of the paper on a separate page, and end of the chapter, end of the paper. Bibliography is the alphabetical list of the sources that are quotes or summarized body of research based. Usually bibliography included at the end of the research. So, for example, this is the example in bibliography how to write. For example, one paper is there, me and my student, my name is Battula Srinivas. So Battula yes and Gupta A, Ankita Gupta. So we write in the bibliography APA style. We write like this. And in Chicago style, we write name, surname, and first name. And Ankita Gupta 2021, we are not using brackets. And in Chicago style, you are writing in inverted commas and you are writing this. In citation, always, when we are writing review of literature, when we are writing all this citation, we have to write the same reference, Battula and Gupta, That is the referencing style. And budget framework. So budget proposal summarizes the estimated cost for upcoming project, like recurring costs, which are included direct cost, indirect cost. Direct costs related to project questionnaire, team members, softwares, specific project activities. Indirect costs like, whatever you wanted to buy in IT services, the utilities and other internet facilities like your these things. And travel and other expenses you have equipment and materials. Equipment and materials, in that equipment materials, you always can bring in the laptop, computer, and printer who is having equipments, long-term duration. Then this would be the budget pattern, recurring equipment. This would be budget pattern. This would be timeline of research project. Research project timeline is like a schedule or planner for our research process. Like in first year, we write, we complete formulation of our questionnaire and research data collection. Second year analysis. Third year writing report. You have to write like that. Okay. These are the activities. Research project timeline example: design, literature review, data collection, data analysis, writing up, deliverables. We have to write deliverables also. One is time frame, activity, stage, deliverables. Then people do understand in a perfect manner how to write a budget framework. Okay, like in a stage wise, first stage, design and planning, and the activity, what is the activity and what is the deliverable confirmed. Usually targets always be there. In first year, we give first draft, second year, we give this, like that. We have to do that. That is the research project timeline. Okay. Lastly, ethical aspects. Usually ethical considerations in research, a set of principles that are guided by the researcher, by the project coordinator. Usually we always, as a researcher, while collecting the data, while interacting the people, we always maintain some ethical aspects. So one should decide what to be asked, what not to be asked. That is very important for a researcher to do. So protect the rights of the research participants, enhance research validity, maintain scientific or academic integrity. Those are ethical aspects. These are very crucial for the ethical things. Even in our university, there is ethical clearance cell is there. Whatever we submit the proposal, they always see, including our questionnaire also, they would see what type of questions we are asking, how we are asking, whom we are asking, which group you are asking. All these things they would examine, and they try to identify some ethical aspects, ethical practices. Okay, getting ethical approval, research proposals, particularly institutional review boards always be there. That institutional review boards always check ethical approvals. Okay. So once we bring in our research project proposal, once you complete research project, you always can publish in different journals. You have got UGCK listed, Scopus Index, Web of Science. Usually there's an impression that we cannot publish our papers in Web of Science and Scopus. Very easy publications are in Web of Sciences and Scopus Index. we always can publish in Scopus Index and Web of Sciences. Okay. So first we have to identify the journal. To publish one article, we have to identify the journal, interest area, check out the journal frequency, whether it is bi-monthly, whether it is biannual, or twice a year. All these things we have to check. Whether it is online or offline, the accessibility of the journal, check for cloned journals, expand the journal beyond economics. Article we are checking only economics. Don't check only economics. Multi-dimension, multidisciplinary. You understand? You try to check, and more approachable journals are international journals. So we can approach. And thank you. I wanted to show you the list of the journals, but if you visit UGC website, you always can see the list of the journals: Web of Science, UGC Care, and Scopus Index of journals you can see. If you want, I can mail you all these journals list in your email. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks for your patience. Since it is very evening, everybody is sitting with forcefully. ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడా చాలా కష్టంగా కూర్చున్నారు. అయినా కానీ థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
సార్ కేఆర్పి గ్రూప్ లో షేర్ చేయండి సార్.
సారీ,
కేఆర్పి గ్రూప్ లో షేర్ చేయండి సార్. మా గ్రూప్ లో షేర్ చేయండి, మేము షేర్ చేస్తాం.
పీపీటీ షేర్ చేయమంటారు. ఓకే, ఫైన్, చేస్తాను. ఇంకా చక్రపతి గారు చెప్పండి. చక్రపతి గారు అస్మానులు వేస్తున్నారు మీరు.
అక్కడ నేర్చుకునే కంటే చాలా ఎలాబరేటివ్ ఉంది సార్.
సార్
చాలా ఎలాబరేటివ్ గా చెప్పారు సార్.
అది ఇదంతా మీరు నేర్చుకుని ఉంటారు కదా 10 days లో, మీరు అంతా నేర్చుకున్నవే చెప్తున్నట్టు.
చాలా చక్కగా చెప్పారు సార్. పాయింట్ టు పాయింట్, పిన్ పాయింట్ గా చెప్పారు. తర్వాత పీపీటీస్ కూడా చాలా మాకు ఉపయోగపడతాయి సార్. దయచేసి కొంచెం వాటిని మీరు షేర్ చేయండి సార్.
ఓకే, షూర్.
చాలా చక్కగా చెప్పారు సార్. ఎలాబరేట్ గా ప్రతి దానికి కూడా వివరించి నీట్ గా చెప్పారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
మొత్తం మన వాళ్ళందరూ ఉన్నారు. అన్నపూర్ణ మేడం ఉన్నారు, రుక్మిణి మేడం కనిపిస్తున్నారు. గ్రేట్.
నమస్తే సార్, హౌ ఆర్ యూ సార్?
బాగున్నా మేడం, బాగున్నాను. రుక్మిణి మేడం ఎలా ఉన్నారు? బాగున్నారా? ఒకటి విశాఖపట్నం, ఒకటి రాజమండ్రి, ఇంకొకటి నెల్లూరు. ఓకే, ఆల్రైట్. బాగుంది. నో క్వశ్చన్ సార్, నో క్వశ్చన్ సార్. శుభ మేడం, నో క్వశ్చన్ సార్.
రుక్మిణి మేడం.
So first of all, private professor research project professor, sir has elaborate various aspects under his lecture and covered all aspects, methodology, budget, timeline, evaluation, and impact using clear and concise formatting, organizations, and visual presentation to research project presentation. Starts with research and teaching is the core component of higher level curriculum. So objectives, I put the research presentation contains explain from statement of the problem to ethical aspects. He touched rural research problem, parametric and non-parametric budget framework elaborately. Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs with regard to research projects. So last but not least, I would like to explain one more point about our Telugu pride. Professor Bathula Srinivas is from a remote place in coastal Andhra, our home state, and he raised from lowest to highest by becoming himself as professor and has successfully played in different capacities, becoming himself as a role model and as an exemplary individual, motivating everyone who comes into his line of control to prove better than the best. So I wholeheartedly thankful to you, sir. సో మీకు నిజంగానే చాలా థ్యాంక్ యూ, చాలా కృతజ్ఞతలు. అందరు కూడా చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఫీల్ అయ్యారు మీరు వచ్చేసరికి. అమ్మో మన శ్రీనివాస్ సార్ వచ్చారని అందరి కళ్ళ ఫేస్ లో కూడా బాగా నిజంగానే కళ కనిపించింది. మన వాళ్ళందరూ చూస్తున్నారు. సో అమ్మాయిలు, మన అమ్మాయిలు, మనందరికి కూడా మీకు చాలా రుణపడి ఉంటాం సార్. మీరు అందరు చాలా బాగా మమ్మల్ని చూసుకున్నారు. సో మీ నిజంగా మిమ్మల్ని చూసే అసలు మీ కోఆర్డినేటర్ అంటూనే అప్పో మన హోమ్ టౌన్ కి వచ్చినట్టు అనిపించింది. సో ఆన్ బిహాఫ్ ఆఫ్ సిసి కమిషనరేట్ ఆఫ్ కాలేజ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ and particularly our PVK in college NRC center, I wholeheartedly thankful to you, sir, for your nice words regarding the research project proposal, how to write a project proposal with an accurate manner at this juncture. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Srinivas sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you for accepting.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Madam, 2 minutes, madam. Meeting में हम 2 minutes में आ रहा.
मीटिंग में तो और सर मीटिंग
Okay, madam, sugar madam. వెళ్ళిపోవచ్చా నేను?
Yes, sir. It was closed.
Thank you, thank you.
मीटिंग మళ్ళీ మీటింగ్ మళ్ళీ మీటింగ్
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. వెళ్ళట్లేదు. Okay.